So we are talking about incorporation. The question clients often ask is, I have a sole proprietorship. What are the steps to incorporating? Now this process has quite a few important stages that you aren't going to want to miss, so you might want to consider taking notes. I hope that by the end of this video, you will feel confident in the steps you have to take to incorporate your sole proprietorship. So step number 1, determining goodwill and fair values. In our last video, I discussed the implications of goodwill and fair values when transitioning from a sole proprietorship to a corporation. If you haven't already checked out those videos, please do so before proceeding. This is a really important step. Now, most of our clients don't use a Section 85, which I discussed in that video. I'm going to assume that you are in the same boat. This video is applicable if you are not using a Section 85 election. Step number 2, incorporate. Next, reach out to your chosen lawyer and create your corporation. Now, a recent client of mine was groaning in my office because of the information they learned years after incorporating. They were frustrated to have lost out on opportunities. Be sure to check out our other videos on how to set up a corporation for things to consider. So share structure and ownerships set the foundation for tax planning, and a few key decisions can save you thousands down the road. Step number 3, set up your corporate bank account. So once your incorporation is complete, you can bring your banking package to your favorite financial institution. I would recommend setting up a savings account and a corporate credit card in addition to your regular checking account for the most flexibility. So your bank will ask you for documents from your incorporation. Things like an incorporation certificate, an incorporation application, notice of articles, register of directors, central security register, and articles of incorporation. Now, many clients' eyes glaze over when I prattle off this list. If you've used a lawyer, they can prepare this package for you. But if you've self-incorporated, you'll need to gather these documents before heading to your bank, or they'll probably send you home. Step number 4, set up new tax numbers. After incorporating a busy sole proprietorship, my clients certainly let out a loud sigh of resignation when I mentioned new tax numbers were needed. This can be frustrating because new accounts and logins will need to be set up. For the Canada Revenue Agency, you will need a new GST/HST number and a new payroll number associated with your corporation. You cannot continue to use your sole proprietorship tax numbers. You are also likely to need a new provincial sales tax number and a new WorkSafe number, so be sure to reach out to your provincial authorities. Step number 5, move your sales, contracts, expenses, and bookkeeping into your corporation. Yes, this part is a lot of work. To benefit from your corporation, you're going to need to move your revenue streams, official contracts, and operating expenses into your corporate bank accounts. If you miss this step, then revenue and expenses will continue to be associated with your sole proprietorship, and you will lose out on the benefits of incorporating. You will also need to set up new bookkeeping records. Think of it like a fresh start, as you will need to create an entirely new set of records. Step number 6, don't forget payroll. If you have employees, be sure to transition them as well. This involves issuing a record of employment to your employees from your sole proprietorship, as well as providing them with a T4. Then begin submitting payroll remittances under your new payroll number that you previously set up. Step number 7, transfer all your assets. So you are going to need to sell or transfer all your assets from your sole proprietorship into your corporation. Assets like computers, equipment, machinery, tools, inventory, and intangibles like goodwill will need to be moved. Some of these items you'll end up retaining personally, whereas others will be moved into your corporation. Either way, they will need to be transferred at their fair market values. For most assets, you can do this with documentation. I'd recommend issuing an invoice either to yourself personally or to your corporation from your sole proprietorship, identifying the items that are being moved. You'll record the new assets in your corporation at the transferred fair market value. As a quick bookkeeping tip, you'll offset these against your shareholder loan account. Now, as a special note, your vehicle is a bit different. Check out our motor vehicle videos to determine if your vehicle should be owned by your corporation or not. Do proceed with caution, because reverse tax planning can apply. So if you do decide to move your vehicle over, you will need to change the registration with your provincial government. Internal documents isn't going to cut it. Step number 8. Don't forget the sales tax. GST or PST may apply on the assets you are transferring, but I do have a few exceptions for you. Consider using the GST 44 form to avoid the GST, but beware, timing is crucial. The form must be filed before the deadline of the GST remittance the transaction occurs in. For example, if the transfer occurred in November and your GST period is from January to December, then the GST form has to be filed at the same due date as your January to December remittance. You will have to file 2 forms, one under your sole proprietorship and one under your corporation. Now, if any of these steps are missed, the GST 44 form will be denied and you'll have to pay GST at the fair market value of the assets transferred from your corporation. If you live in British Columbia, an exception to PST is also available. Be sure to check out PST Bulletin 210 for more details. Step number 9, file your taxes and close your accounts. To wrap things up, you'll have to file your tax returns, taking into consideration all the asset transfers and changes we've been making. Now, the deadline is filing your normal tax return deadline. It's not done early. Essentially, you'll need to file your final income tax return, HST GST return, provincial sales tax return, and WorkSafe returns. Once all the tax returns have been filed and any outstanding balances paid or refunds collected, go ahead and close your accounts. On your personal tax return, this involves ticking a little box along the top of your T2125 Statement of Business Activities. For your sales tax accounts like GST, HST, PST, you'll need to call the Canada Revenue Agency or close down your accounts online through your online portals. All right, step number 10, celebrate. Yay, you did it! This process has had quite a few important steps and in truth can take a full year to complete. Great job for persevering. Watch this video a few times as you progress. We also have a very helpful handout available on our website to keep you on track. All right, I hope you feel confident in the steps you have to take to incorporate a sole proprietorship. That's all I have for today. Bye for now.